Why do humans fear great white sharks and see them as the mindless killers of the deep? Why do many people all over the world fear to enter the waters of any ocean? Join our 3 adventurers as they encounter these apex predators of the ocean. On the southern coast of South Africa, there are 3 very significant bays: False Bay, Gans Bay and Mossel Bay. In False Bay, we spent time with Chris and Monique Fallows, world famous for documenting the breaching activities of great whites. Enrico Gennari is an Italian researcher based in Mossel Bay who works with these amazing creatures every day. We go shark cage diving in Gans Bay with some tourists, part of the 40,000 foreign visitors who come to South Africa every year to view great white sharks up close in their environment. Chris Fallows is a famous wildlife photographer, naturalist and conservationist, best known for documenting breaching activities of South Africa's great white sharks. He and his wife Monique are also known for their active involvement in shark conservation and respected authorities on great white behavior.
I started work with great whites in 1991. I worked at a location called Dyer Island for 4 years as a volunteer for the White Shark Research Institute. And then in 1996, I started with a colleague at Seal Island. We were very fortunate to discover the incredible breaching shark behavior. And I started my own small business there, and slowly over the years I've built it up and been very privileged to spend nearly 2 decades working with a magnificent animal.
It's early morning as we head out with Apex Shark Expeditions towards the famous Seal Island in False Bay off the coast of Cape Town, South Africa. It's July, which means that it's midwinter in the Cape. There's no wind, but the air is cold. Soon we spot seals making their way toward the island after having been out for an early hunt, but these hunters also find themselves the hunted.
Well, False Bay is an amazing place. Not only do we have flying great white sharks, which is incredible on its own, but we also get to see, a huge array of different other animals, from common dolphins, which can be in schools of up to 1,000, southern right whales, which are seasonal and come to breed and calve in the bay, and then on rare occasions we even see orcas hunting the dolphins. It's also got Africa's largest island-bound seal colony, a huge penguin colony at the boulders. So from a naturalist point of view, what more could you ask for?
The hope of seeing breaching great white sharks is the main reason for which people set sail for Seal Island.
Okay, if it does happen, there's no warning at all, so you need to be watching the decoy the entire time, okay? So even if you're getting bored and you think it's not going to happen, just keep watching because you don't want to miss it, alright? It can be 0.7 of a second, so it's very, very fast.
In order to attract the sharks for observation purposes, the crew tows a decoy cut out of carpet material in the shape of a seal. While great white sharks also display breaching behaviors in other parts of the world, it would appear that they do so with greater intensity and regularity here at Seal Island.
Today wasn't a day for a breach, but when a huge school of dolphins came by, our disappointment quickly diminished.
So we've got about 500 common dolphin in front of us here, a species that we fairly regularly get in False Bay. They form these immense schools. They come in here to feed primarily on sardines and anchovy, and it's just an unbelievable sight. It's one of the true privileges that we have working out here in False Bay when we get to see these huge schools. You can see at the moment they're actually looking for bait fish. They're on a searching mission, going looking for prey, and probably in the next hour or two they'll form up into an even tighter knit unit and then be joined by the gannets and maybe even Brutus whales. and you might start seeing what we know as a bait ball, which is one of the spectacular things we have along our coast, particularly on the sardine run. Of tremendous speeds. I've certainly seen them going at around about 15 to 20 knots, which is in the region of about 35 kilometers an hour. So very agile, beautifully hydrodynamic, and obviously capable of massive speeds in order to catch prey and to get away from potential predators. Great white sharks congregate around Seal Island around April every year. And the reason they do that is they move from the inshore area where the summer migratory fish and sharks are that they feed on during the summer months. They move away from False Bay, and as such the white sharks have got just the seals to feed on. By that stage the seals have also been weaned off their mothers. They're about 6 months of age and they're going out to feed for the first time. So they're a good, nutritious and fat, energy-rich meal for the white sharks. And they're also relatively inexperienced, going on their first feeding forays. So for the white shark, it's a perfect time to go to Seal Island, and all the features come together like nowhere else on earth. Your topography is perfect. You've also got high concentrations of teenage great white sharks competing for a relatively limited food source. So that's why you see these incredible aerial displays when they're hunting the seals. As any photographer will know, you've never got the perfect shot, and there's always something that could be a little bit better. So you're always striving to get that image. And the most important thing for me though is to obviously capture the true essence of the natural struggle that we have there. It is a life and death battle. And I think, you know, if the image can convey that, the seriousness of that encounter to people, then I've achieved something.
Chris Fallows and his team have observed and documented over 5,500 great white shark predatory events since 1997. The media has led us to believe that sharks are intentionally out to kill humans and are only to be feared. While it is tragic that sharks do kill, on average 5 to 6 people per year worldwide, albeit almost always unintentionally and in their own environment, human beings, on the other hand, invade the oceans and intentionally kill over 100 million sharks annually. Most are brutally finned alive and dumped back into the sea to die. The seaside town of Mossel Bay on the southern coast of South Africa is world-renowned for its great white sharks.
Mossel Bay for control coming from Cheetah, over.
Cheetah, good morning, send your message.
Good morning, sir. Permission to leave the mooring and the harbor, over.
That's all clear today. We'll look out for a fishing vessel entering port, over.
Enrico Gennari is originally from Italy and came to South Africa in 2005. When he was a child, he watched a documentary about white sharks in South Africa and told his mother that that was what he wanted to do someday. He is currently doing his PhD on the physiology of white sharks. Along with 3 other people, he started a research institute in Mossel Bay.
The wind is perfect for this condition. The wind is pushing the chum, which is the mix of fish products. It's gonna push the chum offshore. So it's perfect. So we're gonna have the island, our boat, and then the chum going offshore, which is the area where white shark patrol when they want to hunt seals. So the seal move out of the bay to feed, they come back, and then the shark are waiting for them. Chris, can you go a bit at 10 o'clock? When you see birds like those ones that are flying quite close to the water surface, and there is a bit of slick in the water, that might have been just a predation right now. So we're just going there to investigate and see what's about. Here we had most likely a small seal, doesn't look too big, so a small seal that was coming back and our shark ambushed it. And that's the remain of the attack. It was a very clean, most likely our shark ate the two parts of the body and left that's part of the intestine. Okay, as you can see here, this is the intestine of a seal. It's very much similar to our one, mammals like us. Lots of blood vessel, and this is just the remain of a predation.
This is Seal Island, the place where we are going to anchor for the next few hours. Hopefully we'll be able to view some large great whites.
This is a dorado fish, also called dolphin fish. It's quite a nice, there's not too much meat, but it's quite a nice head. And white shark likes them, and mostly they see this big possible food, so they come to the surface. We use the chum to attract it to the boat, but then we have to use something to take the shark up to the surface. Now, sharks are not like in the movie Jaws all the time with the dorsal fin out. So we need something to lure them to the surface, and so we can study them in different ways.
To do the underwater filming, we have constructed a pole attached to a camera in an underwater housing. At the moment, all we see is lots of fish. Hopefully the sharks will come and join them soon.
It's a very good approach to me to do research, because it's not just research for the sake of doing research, but it's research applied for people. It's research aimed at people. So we want to share our information with people in order to make people realize how amazing are those animals. And there's no... Sorry, Sharkin. Okay, the one with a tag. Can you get the VR100 on? It might be... Okay, we might have a 3 and a 3.5 meter shark around. One is called Pinocchio and the other is called Sparta. And at the moment we have 2 sharks. 1, 2. This is the sound from a shark. It's got a white on the nose. No, it's just checking out. Here you go, the dorsal fin. Now you should turn. They have a scar on the right hand side, number 3. It's got a white on the dorsal fin, left hand side. This is the data sheet that gives us information about the shark. So we have the size of the shark in different categories, the gender, male and female. Here we have different markings on the dorsal fin, on the caudal fin, the number of photographs that Chris and Rob take, so we can, when we go back home, we can match them up with the data, and as well any markings here on the body of the shark is used to recognize them in the future over and over again, and these give us the opportunity to estimate the white shark population in this area. Now this bay is amazing also because we have sharks that stay in this bay in and out for over 7-8 months of the year, and then coming back the next year after year, and that's very fundamental for any kind of study on populations. So that's why it's a very important bay for white sharks. One of the best one in any part of the world.
To date, the team from Oceans Research have tagged over 350 great white sharks.
So for example, we had a shark that moved from Mossel Bay to Australia in only 3 months, 11,000 kilometers in only 3 months, almost in a straight line, using the the Earth magnetic field, using the current going in that direction.
One shark put an end to our day's underwater filming when the sandpaper-like skin on its tail brushed against the front of the housing, scratching it badly. Fortunately, a local panel beating shop was able to buff and polish the housing, and once again it was as good as new.
Here at the Mossel Bay Marine Lab, scientists aim to address critical questions required for the successful management and conservation of this very important apex predator.
Herzlich willkommen zu Meine tierischen Begegnungen. Es ist früher Morgen hier in Camps Bay in Südafrika. Und dieses Gebiet hier vor der Küste ist bekannt für die weißen Haie, die hier leben. Und genau um dieses Tier geht unsere heutige Folge. Und wir wollen herausfinden, wie gefährlich ist dieses Tier wirklich.
Cage diving with great white sharks is one of the main reasons why more than 40,000 foreign visitors arrive each year and submerge themselves in the Cape's temperate waters.
Everybody's mind was going to be happening out there. When we leave here, it's going to take us approximately a 10 to 15 minute boat ride.
All right.
Cage diving is a safe way to see these great sharks in their own environment, and for many people, it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Very important that everything remains inside the cage. Before you all start to panic though, this is not like the movies, it is not the movie Jaws. Hopefully this morning you will see that actually the majority of white sharks are very calm, very cautious animals, very majestic under the water, very graceful, okay?
This area where we are here, Camps Bay or Klein Bay area, is the area in the world where you tend to find most white sharks throughout the year. There are other hotspots in the world off the coast of Australia, California, at certain times of the year of the islands of Guadalupe. So there are other areas in the world, but this is definitely what they call the white shark mecca of the world. Unfortunately, many people have a lot of misconceptions about these animals. They've unfortunately got a bad reputation from movies like Jaws and all that type of thing, portraying them to be mindless killing machines that just are out there just to kill everything in sight, which is a totally wrong perception of these animals. What you need to understand with white sharks are they're in their natural environment. They are predators, so yes, they do hunt, but they aren't these mindless killing machines made out by the media. If you take, for example, white shark attacks worldwide, or any predatory shark attack worldwide, if you look at the all recorded shark attacks, on average there are around about 5 to 6 deaths per year from shark attack. That's worldwide, and that's all species of predatory sharks. Now, if you compare that to any other animal out there, that is way down at the bottom of the list. I mean, many more people are killed by snakes, even by dogs, by mosquito bites, hippopotamus. I can go on forever with that. So unfortunately they've got this bad reputation.
Oh!
No!
White sharks as well only really go for their natural prey. They don't target humans as food. The odd mistake is made, but when there is a white shark attack, on average it's just a bite and a release. It's very, very rare that there's a full consumption of a human being, and that just shows you that they've made a mistake, they've taken a bite, they realize it's not what they thought it was, and they move off. And also, fortunately, that does not happen that often. So Hopefully we are trying to educate people about these animals, that they are extremely necessary for the well-being of the oceans. They're right at the top of their food chain. And as you know, that in the oceans, when you start messing around with the food chain, especially when you take the predators out, everything below starts going out of balance, and the whole ecosystem and the marine environment starts changing for the worst. So hopefully people can get educated about what these animals are actually here for, to keep the balance in the oceans and for the well-being of the oceans as well. Unfortunately, white sharks are highly endangered, although they are protected in several countries, South Africa being the first to protect them in 1991. They are still being caught for their jaws and for their fins. Even in areas where they're protected, they are still being poached for their jaws, because a lot of money can be got for a white shark jaw on the black market, and also their fins are very valuable as well. And also because they're nomadic animals, they might be in a protected area. The moment they move out of a protected area, they're fair game and they can be caught as well. Fortunately, there are many more white shark documentaries being made about white sharks. And I think people are becoming more and more educated about what their purpose is, and hopefully perceptions are starting to change. And also with what we're doing here, although we come out here to do shark diving the white sharks, to show people these animals, hopefully even by doing this, we can change people's perceptions to see, number one, what amazing, majestic animals these are, and also to educate people that how important it is for the conservation not only of white sharks, but of all shark species, because many of the shark species are way down and are endangered nowadays.
My perception of sharks has really changed. I have learned that we cannot base our opinions on what we are told from day to day. We need to be discerning when we engage with the media. I'm so glad that I had this face-to-face experience with sharks.
Great white sharks are so calm and magnificent. Usually they appear extremely cautious. Each one has a different personality. Some are really bold, others are shy, and others are really laid back. Animals have individual personalities. Let's not forget that.
I believe in a creator, God, that also created sharks. Obviously, for a perfect world, He did not create them to eat other creatures. That was a result of the effect of sin. God's original plan was for all of us to live together in peace and harmony. It was man's choice to sin, and now we bear all the consequences. Being respectful of each other can diminish the dangers with which we label each other.